I'm Himali Nalaude and welcome you all to another fresh episode of Bharat Talks. Today we have with us Shefali Vaidya, who was invited to Ayodhya on January 22nd, one of the most historic days for the entire Hindu community. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
So you shared your experience, your emotions with us before going to Ayodhya.
That's right.
That you were invited.
Yes.
Today, you have the experience of visiting Ayodhya Ram Janmabhoomi on the historic day, on the historic moment. How does it feel?
For the first time, I think in my life, I am completely at a loss of words because what I experienced, what I felt in Ayodhya is not something that I can describe in words so lightly, because it was an experience that was so overwhelming. It was an experience that was so ग्रेटिफाइंग दैट वो होता है ना एक मोमेंट जस्ट जब आपको लगता है कि जन्म आपका सार्थक हो गया. इट वाज दैट काइंड ऑफ मोमेंट. इट वाज इट आई जस्ट फील tremendous gratitude that I was chosen by destiny or by Lord Sri Ram, I would say, His grace, that I could attend such a historic occasion. In your opening statement, you said it's a historic occasion for Hindus. It's actually a historic occasion not just for Hindus, but for all Indians. And not just for all Indians, it is a historic occasion for any nation in this world which is seeking to re-establish its identity, which is seeking to rejuvenate itself, which is seeking to reconnect to its roots. And there are many other countries and cultures like this in India. In fact, all ancient cultures, whether they were Greeks or Romans or Incans or Mayans, everybody, they all had such towering structures which they had built for their gods. And those structures too were destroyed by foreign invaders, just like they were destroyed in India. And even now, there are people in that country, in those countries, who are feeling the civilizational pain and they are seeking a solution to it. And we are the only country in the world who have managed to do this. We have managed to reclaim, rejuvenate, reinforce our connection with our roots. And that is historic, not just for Hindus, not just even for Indians. It is historic for the whole world.
Right. So the on 22nd January, Ayodhya was crowded with eminent personalities. They might be common people, but they had a big role to play in the Ram Janmabhoomi Andolan, in the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. So, did you share any interaction with either of these people, and would you like to share it with us?
Almost all the who's who of India were there, especially people who had fought for Ram Janmabhoomi. Everybody was there. And what I really liked was that the Ram Janmabhoomi Trust had been very inclusive in the invites. There were people whose family members had participated in the Kar Seva. I met Purnima Kothari ji, who lost both her brothers, the Kothari brothers, who had attained martyrdom in the struggle for Ram Janmabhoomi. I met a lot of people who had participated in the Kar Seva, and for them it was a dream come true. They had never imagined that they would see such a day, and to meet such people, to hear their experience about how they participated in the Kar Seva was very overwhelming. I'll tell you an incident. There was a Belwala, and he would be about close to 50 now. And when I asked him, are you happy with what is happening? Are you happy with the temple? He said, of course I'm happy with the temple. Why should I not be happy? And he said, अरे मैडम आप कुछ नहीं जानती. मैं 16 साल का था जब मैंने कार सेवा में भाग लिया था. जब हम पुलिस का लाठीचार्ज हुआ था तो हम ऐसे भागे थे और हमने देखा है शरीयू का पानी रक्त से लाल होते हुए. I've seen the water of Shariyu turn red with the blood of the car sevaks. And today you are asking me how do I feel? I feel proud. I feel happy. I feel things that I cannot express in words. And for me, meeting such people, as well as I was not interested in celebrity spotting, because when you go to Ayodhya, it is a momentous occasion. It is not definitely an occasion for celebrity spotting, but to meet the Sant Mahants, to meet the people who were instrumental behind this movement was a very humbling experience. I met Pejawara Shri, whose guru, Sri Vishwesh Tirtha, was one of the leading lights in the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. And when the Dhacha was demolished, he was the one who had placed the Murti of Ram Lalla there, which was in tent all these years. And this time, during the Pran Pratishtha ceremony, his Shishya, Vishwaprasanna Tirtha Swamiji, he had carried that same Murti into the Garbhagriha. So I met Pujya Param Pujya Vishwaprasanna Tirtha Swamiji, and I had a lengthy interaction with him. and that was very, very enlightening. And met a whole lot of people. But more than everything else, what gave me tremendous energy and what gave me tremendous satisfaction were the interactions that I had with the common people of Ayodhya, and for people who had come from all over the country to Ayodhya. They didn't have invites for the program, but they had come on their own. They had come from Assam, they had come from Kerala, they had come from Jammu, they had come from Bangalore, and there were people from all walks of life. I met professionals, I met IT sector employees, I met students, I met businessmen, I met women who had come barefoot all the way from Chhattisgarh to Ayodhya, and who were walking around in Ayodhya barefoot without wearing a chappal, wearing a Ramnam shawl around their shoulders. And all these people had come to Ayodhya because they knew that they were not going to get the darshan on 22nd January, and they didn't even want it. They all just wanted to breathe the air of Ayodhya on 22nd January. That is the only reason why they came. They did not have bookings, the hotels were booked, but they did not have any demands. They were sleeping on the ghats, they were sleeping in dharmashalas, they were eating at the bhandaras, they were taking a bath in the Sharyu in that biting cold. They were, they were completely on their own. But at the same time, the kind of happiness they felt in being in Ayodhya, that happiness was very humbling, and that is the real Bharat. I saw the real Bharat gathered together in Ayodhya, and for me that was the biggest learning. For me that was the biggest high, meeting ordinary people who had come from far to Ayodhya.
Wow, what a moment it would be to be in Ayodhya at that time. Before visiting Ayodhya, you were in Israel.
Yes.
So, was it all Rammay for Hindus in Israel as well at that time?
I didn't meet too many Hindus in Israel because I was a part of a media delegation. So I met Israelis mostly, people from Israeli government, people from Israeli media. But I met a couple of Indian Jewish people who had settled in Israel, and they are obviously aware of the Ram Mandir, and they were very excited. They were very excited about the Ram Mandir. And I just got to see that Hindus in Israel, the few Hindus that are working in Israel, they did a puja and celebration too. I just saw a media report about it. But I didn't personally meet anybody there. But I had gone to Israel with a very different mindset because, as you know, Israel is in the middle of a conflict zone. There is actually a war going on with Hamas there, and we visited some of the war-torn areas. We met with the people, and theirs was a story of resilience. Theirs was a story of little bit of despondency because many of them had children, their nephews, somebody from their family affected. So the mood was a little somber when I landed in Mumbai, and there was a lot going on in my mind, especially after having visited the places where Hamas terrorists attacked. But from there, I didn't even come home. I landed in Mumbai, and the same day I flew to Ayodhya. And from there, when I went to Ayodhya, the entire mahal changed. It was totally one of joy, of euphoria, of extreme happiness, and I still haven't been able to process it. Actually, it'll take me a couple of days to make the most of my emotions, to go through it and to really analyze how I felt. It was electric. It was magical. It was anything. It was something that I'd not experienced before in my life. The mahal of Ayodhya.
So while you were in Ayodhya, you were constantly sharing everything that we could experience from our homes.
Yes.
And one of the stories was about Hindu Matlab Coca-Cola. So what is this story?
So when I went to Ayodhya, one thing I was very intrigued and impressed by is how Coca-Cola had taken over all the name boards. Basically, they spent a lot of money to sponsor all the name boards with their logo. And it is very interesting to see how they had positioned themselves, because they changed their normal blood red color of Coca-Cola to a kumkum kind of shade of maroon, a very, very Indian shade of maroon. And they had put a mandala kind of logo there, and the name Coca-Cola was written in Devanagari almost everywhere. So this is as Indian and as Hindu as it gets. So I was like, okay, this is a multinational company which obviously has invested crores and crores in market research, and it has figured out that this is the way to go, and this is what is going to earn them dividends. They are a profit making company. They are a company that seeks profit, right? They are not doing samaj seva. So if they have changed their marketing campaign in that way, if they have Indianized themselves, if they have Hinduized themselves, quote unquote, in such a way, it is because they see a very sound economic policy and they see a very sound economic reason behind it. And that sort of tells you which way the politics of this nation is headed. Companies that work for profit actually are the best weather vanes, and they have the best judgment of which way things are moving. So Coca-Cola Indianizing itself completely is a classic case of दुनिया झुकती है झुकाने वाला चाहिए. And that's why I thought, what is Coke's next tagline going to be? Hindu matlab Coca-Cola. पहले वो that used to be ठंडा matlab Coca-Cola, right? So soon in Ayodhya at least you got the feel they were trying to say Hindu matlab Coca-Cola.
Okay, so a lot of Bollywood celebrities were invited, and one of those was Ayushmann Khurrana. And what happened was
Who Ayushmann Khurrana?
Okay, so he's a Bollywood celebrity. He came out from roadies and everything.
What do I care who is Ayushmann Khurrana? Some B-grade actor saying something. I don't even know who he is. I don't know why you're even asking me this question. How does it matter what he said? It doesn't matter to me. I don't care.
Moving on, so Rahul Gandhi is presently going on his Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra, and after not accepting the invitation for such a historic moment, which actually could have been a politically good move, but anyway, that was their calculation, and he enters Assam with his yatra, and he's welcomed with chants of Bhagwan Ram. And we could literally see that there's not much satisfaction or happiness on his face. What is your response to that ironic moment that he
I
witnessed?
actually have been so Ramamay that I haven't been following Rahul Gandhi's yatra. Usually also I look at it more as an entertainment, but this time there was enough in Ayodhya going on, so I haven't really followed. I haven't seen those videos. But I'll tell you one thing, this getting the invite and not accepting it is not Rahul Gandhi's unique problem. It is a problem of all opposition basically. So for them, the Ram Mandir and the resultant Hindu resurgence because of the Ram Mandir is like that Hindi saying, Shadi ka laddu, ugla bhi nahi jata, nigla bhi nahi jata. So they don't quite know how to deal with it. They see that the entire nation has become saffron. They see that every Hindu has started taking pride in this, and they see that all Hindus, regardless of caste, regardless of language, regardless of even political affiliations, are happy that the Ram Mandir has finally happened and that Pran Pratishtha of the Ram Mandir is being done by the Prime Minister. Every Hindu or every self-respecting Hindu, let me qualify it, there are many people with Hindu names but who don't consider themselves Hindu. I also don't consider them Hindu. But every self-respecting Hindu is happy that Ram Mandir has happened and that the Prime Minister did the Pran Pratishtha. Now, obviously, in a Hindu majority democracy, you cannot alienate the Hindu electorate. So the opposition don't know how quite to deal with it. They cannot distance themselves from Sri Ram. They cannot distance themselves totally from the Ram Mandir. At the same time, they don't want to be seen as totally for the Ram Mandir also, because then that will hit their minority appeasement vote bank. So they don't quite know how to deal with it. And this is not just Rahul Gandhi's problem. It's a problem of Mamata Banerjee also. It's a problem of Stalin also. It's a problem of pretty much every opposition leader. See, sooner or later, they have to make a choice. They have to understand that in a Hindu majority country, can they afford to alienate the majority of the Hindus, or are they going to embrace the Ram Mandir cause, or for the lack of a better word, the nationalist or the Hindutva cause, which are one and the same according to me. That is something that they have to figure out. About Rahul Gandhi's Nyaya Yatra or whatever it is that he calls himself, Manoranjan to hota rahe.
And following the historic moment of January 22nd, next day we witnessed riots on Mira Road, and which were quite severe. So, what is your response to the mentality that resulted out in such riots?
Here, this is a very nuanced question actually. These are sporadic incidents, okay? Even the minority community, by and large, has accepted the court verdict. Even the minority community has by and large made peace with the fact that the Ram Mandir is a reality. And most of them they do not want fights, they do not want riots, or they do not want major disruptions. But having said that, there are enough unsavory elements amidst them whose politics basically rests on the insecurity among the minorities, Muslims specifically. So there will be enough people who will try to instigate the Muslim community. There will be enough people, enough antisocial elements who will try to create pockets like this, like Mira Road, where they will go and pelt stones at a Hindu procession, or they will shout some slogans or whatever. But I don't think the average Muslim on the street is on their side, because they realize that this is a different India. This is a changed Bharat. This is a Bharat where Hindus are finally asserting their identity. They are being proud of their Hinduness. And this is not a Bharat where Hindus will take every insult lying down. It is a different Bharat. Bharat before 22nd January 2024 and Bharat after 22nd January 2024 are basically two different countries as far as Hindu assertion is concerned.
Okay, ma'am. So thank you so much for sharing your insights about the before, during, and after of such a historic moment. Thank you so much. That was it for today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.